That's ready.
I'm ready.
Walter, you ready?
I'm ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the thank you. Thank you for your forbearance for being about 10 minutes late. Thank you for that, and welcome to the August monthly meeting of the Botetourt County Board of Supervisors. We're glad you're here. First order of business will be to come out of closed session. And as many of you know, we have a protocol for doing so. The following resolution is required following closed session per section 2.23711A of the Code of Virginia. For the Freedom of Information Act requirements, a roll call vote is required on this item. So the following is the motion, and we'll take a roll call vote after I've stated it. Be it resolved that to the best of each board member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements, and only such matters as were identified in the motion to go into closed session were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed session. I submit that as a resolution.
Second.
Yes.
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 And we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll ask Mr. Nicely if he would lead us in that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now if we can all join together in a moment of silence. One thing to bear in mind and to be mindful of is the courage and the bravery and the hard work and the always ready mode of our fire and rescue people. No more obvious than in the past couple of days. So I'm going to be thinking about them in my moment of silence, among other things, but they deserve our thoughts and prayers, as do the victims of a couple of recent incidents in the county. So join me, please, in a moment of silence. Thank you, folks. Next item on the agenda is recognitions. And for that, Ms. Pendleton. Afternoon.
Wow.
Good looking group.
Yes. So this is your most recent and up-to-date community development office, comprising 2 divisions serving our citizens and building community. The department has recently filled several vacant positions and throughout the time has worked tirelessly to meet increasingly regulatory demands while improving services, providing prompt access to information, and striving to ensure that construction continues in our community safely and efficiently. Vacancies have been filled by experienced, talented, and compassionate individuals, both within and outside of the department. I'm excited to provide you with an introduction of new and a celebration of familiar faces and showcase some highlights and things to come from both divisions of the department. I don't want to break it.
You won't.
Thank you, friend. All right, so I just going to share a quick agenda of the presentation this afternoon, who we are, some acknowledgements, and then any questions that you all might have for us. This is not meant to be all inclusive, but really more of a celebratory opportunity to come before you all this afternoon. As I mentioned, we have 2 divisions, and overarchingly, the planning and zoning division really handles is my use allowed on a piece of property and helping the community plan for future comprehensive visions. The development services divisions, what regulations do I need to follow to safely locate on an existing or new site within the county? This is an updated organizational chart that both John, the planning supervisor, and Mark Bowles, chief building official, will go over and really celebrate our folks here. Just wanted to let you know we have, again, had some promotions and some changes. We've done a little bit of reorganization and realignment, which is really all in an efforts to better serve those that we spend time with day in and day out. We do still have a couple vacancies, so I'd be remiss not to mention that we are still looking to hire a few folks to complete our wonderful team. So they will go more into detail about who these folks are in just a moment. I could dazzle you with numbers and I could spout out all kinds of statistics, but really the intent of the presentation today is not necessarily to do that, but to share the why behind these numbers. I've never been more proud or more excited about the future of Botetourt County than I am today. But first, I am going to point out some of these numbers because they are pretty dazzling. But what I want you to take a minute to reflect on is what these numbers actually represent, is a touch point in time where our staff, these are human beings with families, with friends, with hobbies, with goals, with intentions, when they are engaging with a person on the other side of that interaction, in their homes, at their business, in a time of opportunity, sometimes in a time of sorrow, sometimes in a time of frustration, but always in an effort to provide assistance. It's a stepping stone for these people at a time to something new or something different. In addition to when you see us each month at these meetings, there are so many other things going on, and it's really all about the future for the staff, the community, for the people of Botetourt County. So just last month alone, issuing 78 permits valued at over $10 million, performing 439 inspections. 13 new dwelling unit permits were issued, a couple of commercial site plans and commercial COs, 9 COs, so 9 families moved into their new home just last month. In last fiscal year, almost 1,000 permits issued valued at over $87 million, almost 5,500 inspections, 80 new dwelling unit permits, 110 new businesses in the county working from their homes, home occupation permits, 41 minor and 3 major subdivisions, and we have currently 31 site plans or active land disturbance permits that are outstanding that we're currently working every minute of the day. There's no one better for me to hand over the introduction and recognitions of the Planning and Zoning Division than to John McCoy. Pleased to announce that March 1st, he was promoted to Planning Supervisor. He will have accomplished 3 years of service to Botetourt County this weekend. And in 2023, you may recall that John was named the Foxhound Distinguished New Professional of the Year. As our department continues to be directly impacted by the growth of the community and the increasing complexities of regulations, we face challenges with our capacity and our day-to-day tasks, as well as our ability to grow and change in response to the new normal. Our day-to-day work is integrally aligned with a strategic direction, that's a lot of big words there, of county leadership and the forward-thinking attitudes that lead us to want to be better and more effective at what we do for those we serve, as well as each other. John's positive attitude, his inclusivity, his teamwork, and his ability to recognize long-term vision made him a natural fit for the role. As the supervisor of the planning and zoning team, that work will result in better responsiveness to needs throughout our department, increase opportunities for professional growth for everyone. So as he oversees the day-to-day activities of planning and zoning, I'll turn it over to him. Thank you all. Oh, over there.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Thank you for having us up here today. Really, the whole point of us being here is that we were very sad to not have a 6 p.m. session tonight, so we felt like we couldn't let you without talking to us today. So appreciate the time, and thank you to Nicole for the opportunity to be in this role, for being able to get out of the way of this fantastic team that I work with. They are stellar, is the word I would use, constantly. I'm blown away pretty much every day that I'm here with their ability to interact with the public, their ability to process complex information, and their ability to communicate that to me, who is kind of lost sometimes. So I definitely appreciate that. As Nicole mentioned, our department has a new face in it, at least on our side. I want to introduce you to Matt Lindsay, who's been here since June of this year. He comes from Hill Studio, where he did a lot of work in comprehensive planning and long-range planning. He has a master's in forestry from Virginia Tech, so another Hokie on board. Since he's been here in June, he's conducted 176 reviews. So in just 3 short months, he's been able to make an immediate impact on the department. Hearing him interact with folks on the phone, to me, it seems like he's been here since I started, if not well before that. So he is immediately adding value to the team every minute that he's here, and I'm very happy to have him on board. So just want to introduce you to him. Moving on down the line, I've got Nick Baker, who you have seen many times presenting to you. He's been with the county longer than I have by, I think, about 6 months or so. So getting towards 4 years of service here at the county. Nick this year was promoted to Planner 2 and has assumed the role of Deputy Zoning Administrator and Deputy Subdivision Agent, 2 incredibly important and complex roles to have here in the county. He has conducted to date this year 375 reviews. So that is site plan reviews, subdivision plat reviews. And not only has he done all this, he's done this while he's been pursuing his master's degree at Virginia Tech, taking classes in the spring and the summer, and actually just starting back to class last night. So he was in class last night and still showed up to work today, which I think is a testament to him. Love having him here. We bounce ideas off each other, and it's a fantastic partnership there. Mr. Matt Lewis, who you all have known in a couple roles here in the county, he started as a code enforcement officer and moved up to a brand new role called Operations and Support Coordinator, recognizing his unique abilities to speak both to the building side and the planning and zoning side, and making sure that we have what we need to get the good work that we do done on a daily basis. He's a little under the weather today, so he can't be with us. He's recovering from some of the ick from his kids starting back at school. Seems like it's going around, but I know that he would love to be here if he could. Continuing in the numbers, he's conducted 327 reviews and inspections this year. He is actively still maintaining some of the code enforcement responsibilities as he's assumed this new role. So he is staying exceptionally busy and has been doing a fantastic job with managing and handling grants, operating as the code enforcement officer, and just all the other amazing things that he's been doing in that new role. And last but certainly not least is Laura Goad, who also cannot be here with us today. She's the glue in my mind of our side of the department. She keeps us all straight. She keeps us all organized. She has been with the county for nearly 24 years. So she knows a little bit about everything, and certainly knows much more than I do about the going on in the department, the community, and everything. She keeps our advertisement dates in order. She makes sure that we get the packets to you all. That way you can review and make fantastic decisions for the county as well. So Laura is, like I said, unfortunate she can't be here today, but she really is just a fantastic individual and a wonderful addition to the department. I think that's everybody. I don't think I missed anybody. I'm looking to the director to make sure. So we also wanted to identify just one of the new cool things that we've done this year. This was born a few years ago when we were working on the Gateway Crossing overlay that you all adopted. And we wanted to be able to understand and track how development had been occurring in the county and really being able to communicate that to the public. So this is a new tool that we've used. And Tiffany, hopefully I don't break this, but I'm going to click on this link. Maybe it'll work. There we go. All right. It's going. So this is called What's Going On in Boco. This is a tool that we've used. It's called a story map. It's something that our subscription to Ezra GIS affords us. But what we're doing is identifying locations in the county that have active development. So it's anything that has had a site plan submitted to us that we have reviewed and approved. It includes commercial developments. It includes the solar facility up in Buchanan. It includes residential and a few other stuff as well. So just zooming in on one, as you scroll through here, you can see the Fish and Pig restaurant that's under active development right now, and includes some of the aerial imagery, a description, some of the status, and the building permits. So as you scroll through here, you can get an idea of some of the development that's going on. My goal is to update this very regularly. That way, if you ever have a question or wonder, hey, what's going on there? Why is dirt being moved there? You can go to this tool and take a look and get a little bit more information. And if you're still curious and want some more information, you just reach out to us and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. So this is a really fantastic tool. As far as I know, we're one of the few, if not the only locality in Virginia that's doing something similar to this. So that's really exciting that we're being able to offer that transparency and communication to the public. I've spoken far too much, so I'm going to pass it over to Mark Bowles, who's going to touch on the development services side, as long as I can get back to the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. First of all, I'd like to introduce you to Tamara Farrell, I forget where she was standing. She joined us on August 19th as our Development Technician 1. Throughout her career, she has worked in many different office settings, including as office manager for a local contractor. Given her experience with applying for permits and scheduling inspections, both in electrical and plumbing, this has provided her a unique opportunity, excuse me, to better understand the needs of our customers from an outside perspective. Tamara describes herself as adventurous, naming skydiving, kayaking, hiking, water skiing, and zip lining as some of her favorite activities. I'm not sure I'm up for all that. But, Also, she highlights spending time with her family and friends as a priority. Please join me in welcoming Tamara.
Well,
So with development across the U.S. continuing to increase, our development team of 6 is dedicated to meeting our local needs at the local level. They work hard to assist our customers with things like answering questions, addressing concerns, processing permit applications, and performing inspections. We'll introduce you a few of those people now. Matt Hall was, he's been with us 2.5 years or so. Matt was promoted recently to a combination 2 inspector. He continues to show his dedication to Botetourt County, performing his daily inspections while taking phone calls and meeting with homeowners, contractors to discuss some of their project-specific concerns. Matt also continues to study and prepare for additional certification exams while performing over 1,900 inspections in 2024. Next, there you are. Sam Lackey, introduced y'all to Sam back in May. In that short time, Sam's not only began the process of his adding to his international certifications he brought with us with his Virginia certification, he's also worked hard to learn and understand the Virginia Building Code, and that's enabled him to perform over 650 inspections, which really lightens the workload on Matt and myself in the field. Sam also has shown his dedication to Botetourt County by helping out in the permit center with phone calls and scheduling inspections. Much needed help. There's Gail. Gail Carter is our development review coordinator. Gail's been here 2 years in a couple weeks. About 1st of September will be 2 years. She processes all the new development projects, including coordinating reviews and meetings with developers and other key stakeholders. Gail continues to show her dedication and commitment to Botetourt County by also managing multiple emails accounts, including our stormwater email, while the erosion and sediment control and stormwater program manager position is vacant. Another person in our team you don't see a whole lot, but you used to see around here is Jim Witten. He's a retired building official, but he still is with us part-time as our plan reviewer. He constantly meets with contractors, developers, homeowners to talk through the details of their projects to ensure their structures are designed and to meet the code. Jim has performed over 1,000 plan reviews this year, and his extensive knowledge and attention to detail has provided direction to our customers and our staff. So the saying time is money is very true. And many times those timelines have started before our staff even receives an application. Gail often receives submittals with required information missing. To meet these deadlines required, she must communicate exactly what is missing with the developer while ensuring all stakeholders complete the reviews on time. Matt and Sam often receive complaints about working without a permit. Recently, while investigating a complaint, they encountered a homeowner who had actually obtained a permit for some renovation work to his home, but had encountered hidden damages once the project began. He was not aware that additional permits were required along with plans. This was explained to him, and Matt, Sam, and Jim all worked together with him to not only bring his project into compliance, but to keep him on track to move in before his wife delivers their first child. So that's just a small example of what this team does to support Botetourt County. And I don't want to leave anyone out. You see Stephanie Sparks here. Where is Stephanie? There she is. Stephanie was with the community development team for over 7 years. She's moved on to the purchase and the finance department a couple years ago, but she continues to support our staff, answering questions and providing training. Most recently, during a vacancy of our technician position, Stephanie's shown her dedication to Botetourt by returning to the permit center 2 days a week and assisting us with procedures and processes and training. And I don't know how we do it without her. Currently she's training with Tamara to get her up to speed, and she thinks she's going to get away from us Friday, but I don't think we're going to let her go. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
That's hilarious.
Ask my director.
Yeah, and I knew TZ was not going to let him get away with that. So I'd obviously be remiss not to also recognize Mark for his efforts. I think it's next Friday. He and Gail will have 2 years of service to Botetourt. We have a standing joke that he should let me know the second that he's bored. He's not done that yet. As a matter of fact, typically when he calls me, he says, "Are you sitting down?" He carries a tremendous amount of responsibility as the building official. He does it consistently with a can-do attitude. He's always willing to meet a homeowner or a builder on site at all hours of the day and even the night. It's not a joking matter, but we've had more building collapses, whether that be from an unsafe structure or from a vehicle, in the 2 years that Mark has been here, since in the 8 years before he came on board. That carries a lot of load at any time he can expect a phone call to go out and help folks with safety. While he leads the department, he's logged over 800 inspections, created growth opportunities, provided training. He manages our third-party plan reviewer and inspector for ENS and stormwater. And he's led this team all the while. They've been half-staffed since just about the time that he's arrived here in the county. I'm encouraged by the relationships he's built, and I'm looking forward to the future with he and John's leadership. That being said, I'm going to wrap up with the very tiniest of snapshots of what's coming up in our world as we continue to support the future of Botetourt. So as we talked about, filling the vacant positions is obviously a major goal that we're working very hard to fulfill. And we've entered into an agreement with a permitting software called Cloud Permit. It's a web-based system. It allows folks at any role or responsibility that anyone might have in the county to go in and check the status of their applications, provide information. At any given time, it's a live snapshot. We've heard time and time again that that's what the building community really, really needs to be effective and communicate with their customers. And so we're excited to have launched that. Working to finalize the comprehensive plan update. And then as you've heard us say in the past, right sizing and updating our fee schedule, which some of those numbers haven't been done since the 90s. Most recently, 2005 is our most recent building fee update. So that was a lot. Surprise. I'm just really proud of the group and wanted to celebrate and recognize them. And I wanted to thank the board, also administration, for all the support that they give us, for the other departments, communications, finance, everyone involved for the support that they give our team. And again, excited about the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, and your team. I mean, qualified, motivated, you name it. And one of the things that strikes me is on a daily basis, you're faced with things that are challenging and yet endlessly satisfying. Dealing with the public, for example, dealing with new things in the county, big new things, projects. And even though it's sometimes very difficult, dealing with relentless schedules. And I think one of y'all mentioned that everything that you all do is time dependent, and you do a marvelous job at it. And for the new employees, you're going to like it. Good place to live. It's a good place to work. Thank you, everybody, very much. And let's see, that was under the overall category of recognition. We have a kind of an unexpected but highly welcome recognition, Senator Head. Yeah, you are Senator Head, or soon to be. Yeah. Welcome. Would you care to say anything? Chris Head, I'm sorry.
Public comment.
He'll save it
Public-
until the end.
Yeah, that's at the end. Okay. But in the meantime, we're glad to have you here. Welcome. Right now, we do have a specific or a citizen comment period set aside for items specific to the agenda, not general in nature, but specific to the agenda. And I was just handed one person who would like to speak. And this is Rebecca Kelly, and this is on the topic of solid waste, which is on our agenda. Ms. Kelly? Oh, there you are.
Afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to stop by and thank the committee who worked on the solid waste proposals that were submitted. I want to give a shout out in no particular order. Kim Hartman, the purchasing manager, the process was so seamless and smooth for us to submit electronically. Greg Hanna, the landfill manager, who's always accessible to us. We have David Mormon, our deputy county administrator. And of course, I got the pleasure to meet Mr. Michael from the Blue Ridge representative for the Board of Supervisors. Kelly's Garbage Collection, we started in 1968, and we look forward to hopefully serving you guys for another term. And thank you all for allowing us to be here and trying to keep Botetourt beautiful. That's what we want to do. Thank y'all.
Thank you for your service to the county after all those years. Appreciate it. It's a good system we have.
Thank you.
Brandon or Walter, would you care to say anything about that? Y'all are on the committee. Oh, yeah, okay. Anything to her comments? Or just wait till we hit the agenda.
I was going to say, this is my first time evaluating waste haulers, and it was challenging and a very rewarding experience for me. And everyone that we interviewed was very congenial and very transparent with the questions we had to ask of you. And I really appreciate your cooperation and the information you imparted to us so we could make the proper decision. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next on the same topic, solid waste collection, Danny Goad.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to speak. My name is Danny Goad. I reside in the Valley Magisterial District. I just wanted to give a shout out to Kessler, who takes care of my trash. They've always done an excellent job. When I've had a question, they have always been prompt to get back to me. I don't expect a question to be answered immediately, but they always do a good job returning my calls, and have always been on the spot, picking the trash up, making sure everything's out of my container, and they've done a really good job with that. I don't have any complaints at all. I don't know what the districts are according to what the agenda says, 1 through 5, but they're in the Cloverdale area. Kessler does a great job for us. And I think Botetourt County is to be commended that we have private companies doing this work, and that at least a few of them are family operated. And I don't know of a day that they've ever missed. And I've been where I am for about 22 years now. So at least for the time they've been there, they've done an excellent job.
Well, thank you for your comments. Very kind of you. And it is a good system. It supports local business and provides good service to the citizens. That's all the citizen comments that we had signed up. And we'll move to the consent agenda. Have the board members had an opportunity to look at that?
Yes.
Is there any comments? Is there a motion?
Motion for approval.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as published. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have 3 items for our finance director, Tony Zarilla. First is approval of transfers and additional appropriations. Mr. Zarilla.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and all in attendance. For the month of August, there is 1 quarterly transfer request. With respect to appropriations, there are 7 pass-through items being requested. Pass-through items 1 through 7 represent expenditure reimbursements, insurance proceeds, donations, and grant funds. Respectfully requested that this transfer and these appropriations be approved by the board. Are there any questions?
There's no questions. I move for approval of transfers and additional appropriations. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of approval of the transfers and additional appropriations indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Moving on to number 6, approval of accounts payable and ratification of the short accounts payable list. Mr. Zarella, you're still up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Total expenditures being requested for approval for August for the general fund, including debt service and all other funds, is a combined $1,364,634.09. Payable disbursements of note for the month are as follows: under technology services, $80,201 paid to Tyler Technologies for annual cost of tax application services. Also under technology services, $38,317 paid to Harris Enterprises for ERP/financial and community development software maintenance through 8/31/25. Under sports complex, $39,867 paid to Smith Turf and Irrigation for a Toro 5040 Series Sand Pro tractor with attachments. And finally, under CIP, Reed Mountain Fire Station /911 Dispatch Center on $26,538 paid to Architectural Partners for project expenses. Are there any questions or comments related to the requested accounts payable expenditures for approval for the month of August?
Questions for Mr. Zarella? Entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the accounts payable and ratify the short accounts payable list. Is there a discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? That matter is approved. And next is approval of the Personal Property Tax Relief Act, PPTRA. Mr. Zarella once again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please go to this agenda having to do with the personal property tax relief in Botetourt County for the 2024 tax year. Prior to December 2005, state legislation was passed which set a fixed cap on the amount of total personal property tax reimbursement that the state would provide, thus taking the form of a fixed annual block grant for Botetourt County of approximately $3.4 million. As part of the process, has prompted the board to adopt a specific relief method in December 2005, which applies to relief to the taxpayer for the first $20,000 in value on a per vehicle basis and has been shown as such on each personal property tax bill. For the 2024 tax year, projected personal property valuations yield an estimated reimbursement from the state of 42%. This projected percentage takes into consideration the composition of the county's vehicle value base and the fixed nature of the state block grant. This would render a taxpayer portion of 58% of the full tax amount. When compared to taxpayer relief percentage for 2023 of 41%, the largest factor for the increase in relief percentage this year is due to the change in used car values, a slight reduction in the number of qualifying vehicles, and an increase in the assessed value base. With that, we requested the board adopt the attached resolution setting the county personal property tax relief percentage at 42% for the 2024 tax year. Special thanks and consideration to Chris Booth, Commissioner of Revenue, for pulling together these figures for consideration. Are there any questions regarding this request?
Process goes every year and it's going pretty well lately, hasn't it?
It's pretty similar to last year.
Yeah,
but,
about the
with an
same.
additional percentage break to the residents 2024.
Questions for Mr. Zarella on the PPTRA? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the PPTRA as proposed for the coming tax year. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That one carries. Thank you, Mr. Zarella.
Thank you.
Change of pace, courthouse update, Rich Evans. Afternoon.
Afternoon. Chairman, board members, thank you for having me here today. I'll start with a brief timeline, a review of the timeline of where we're at. On August 15th, the county and AP signed into a contract to combine the courthouse projects, Phase A and B, to a single project and to combine all the drawings and scopes. That took quite a bit of negotiations to get that. Basically, once those negotiations were started, I asked for a specific breakdown of all items, and all the items that I thought I could take care of or the county could take care of themselves, I removed from that proposal and reduced it from a little over 240-some-thousand to about to 218,000. So it took a little time, a little effort to get that done. So, but basically back to the overview, contract was signed on basically August 15th. The contract gives AP 2 months to put it to bid. So the courthouse combined project will go to bid approximately October 15th. I assume once it goes to bid, we'll have at least we'll have a 30-day bid period to 4 qualified general contractors. All of them been pre-qualified. I've worked with all these contractors for years. I have great confidence in all of them. So basically, that puts us out from bid date to accepting the bid around November 15th. And then from November 15th to about December 15th, we would figure that'd be negotiations with that general contractor. I assume that there will be mobilization from that general contractor by the 15th of 2026. So that's basically the starting timeline. Construction will probably be about 18 months.
18 months, did you say?
Yes, sir, about 18 months. That is an estimate. There are some non-defined timelines in there. First of all, the old law office and hotel has to be moved. That only one company can do that basically, and that's Wolf. So part of that timeline is on them. I'm in constant negotiations. Constant communication with them to make sure that they are prepared to move it once we're prepared to move it. But once again, that could change as time passes. During this time, while these negotiations have been going on in the next 2 months while the drawings are combined, doesn't mean that things are idle there by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, I've been working to get any type of barriers out of the way and save any time on construction. For example, at Phase A, the project was moving historical files. That really was never done. I can't tear down the courthouse until that gets done, so I'm trying to get those done now. Working on leasing some property to move those to. The old plan was to put them in the old office and hotel. If I waited till that building was moved and up to structure, I lose 6 months. So those are the things that we're working on now, as well as doing a very thorough investigation of all the work that was previously done, because as you well know, a lot of it was done incorrectly. And also the part of the time up to the point of signing a contract with AP was to really define the scope of the upcoming project. I've eliminated as many items as I could, such as there was a 200+ line item punch list for the K&A had left behind. I've resolved most all of those issues. I should finish that punch list by the end of next month with regards to the access control for the temporary courthouse and the AV part of that project that was never ever started or completed correctly.
Not sure I understood that last part. The items that K&A left undone.
So K&A
They've been turned over to the general contractor or whoever it will be. Is that right?
No, sir. I've done them. I will have as far as the temporary courthouse punch list items goes, I will have completed those myself.
You will.
I've hired 2 contractors to come in and do the access control and the audiovisual part of it, and that part should be completed by next month by 2 contractors that the county's hired, instead of going through putting it in a bid, ambiguous bid part, and letting a general contractor charge those costs.
So the successful bidder now will come in with a clean slate.
With a clean slate, yes, sir. That's the goal.
And how many pre-qualified bidders did you have?
4.
4.
Yes, sir. And all 4 are relatively local, from Roanoke to Harrisonburg.
And the estimated completion is
Fall of 2027.
2027.
Yes, sir.
And this is now a comprehensive project that includes the so-called hotel and the courthouse, the entire site. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice report. Good work on monitoring it. Questions from board members? Anything?
Just a quick one on the timeline. If we start construction January 2025.
Mm-hmm. 2026, 2026.
Oh, we're not starting.
I'm sorry. I've got my 2025. Yes, ma'am.
So then 18 months from there.
2026. Yes, ma'am.
So 2026.
Yes,
should be
ma'am.
Cool.
Sorry.
I was like, I lost a year there.
I did too, and I have it clearly written here in my notes, and for some reason or another, I decided to give myself an extra year.
Well, that's just in case.
That's just in case.
Good
Don't-
catch.
Don't tell Tommy.
Thank you for that correction.
Thank you.
Anything else from board members? Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Thank you.
Item number 9 is VDOT monthly report. Brian Blevins, welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me again this month. For our update, like I said, it's been on here for a little while, but we've been working on a resurfacing contracts for this year. They've been a little behind in my area, but I've been told that they're putting several crews on it. I know they've started paving in Roanoke County recently again, so you should start seeing a flurry of work here real soon in Botetourt as well. As far as traffic engineering work orders, we'd had a request submitted for a review of the speed limit on Route 220 in the area of just south of Fincastle near Frontier Way. Our traffic engineering section recommended the placement of curve warning signs, as well as a 45-mile-per-hour advisory speed sign, which is not a posted speed, it is just an advisory sign, and a watch for turning vehicle sign for that intersection, and the three sets of oversized chevrons for the area. As far as land development projects, we have several that are underway. If you have questions about any of those, be happy to discuss them. Permits, we've had about 18 last month, mostly utility, a few private entrances, and a maintenance of traffic permit. Residency and VDOT projects, we will be starting work on Blue Ridge Drive and Oak Drive sometime soon, possibly this week, maybe next week, depending upon the weather. We've been working on that one for a while, and we do have a secondary 6-year plan project that you guys approved last year for that. So that one's been on our books for a little while. We've been trying to get it done, and we're finally gonna get that one started. Excited about that one. As far as planned routine maintenance work, this time of year, it's all the same pretty much. Grading gravel roads, dust control. We've had a lot of requests for dust control recently since we haven't had too much rain in the last week or so. Starting back on mowing again. We've been getting some mowing complaints. The rain that we did get's rearing its head. We've been flushing some pipes in some areas of the county using our contractors. Ditching in some areas of Eagle Rock, and again, just grading roads and starting back on the mowings. The biggest thing, some machining in some of our gravel roads as well, prior to the dust control. And we've been doing some patching ahead of next year's schedule. Some of our area headquarters are a little ahead of the game, and they're doing some for next year. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have or take down any issues that you receive.
Down here at Blue Ridge, anything?
I just want to say thank you again. I keep getting amazed at all the paving you've done down in the Blue Ridge area, and the citizens down there very much appreciate it. I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Brendan?
Yes, I mentioned last month that we had some signs kind of in my area there near the Allegheny line. A couple of them have been fixed, but one of the main ones, it's on McKinney Hollow Road and Soldiers Retreat intersection. That one is actually one of the two signs is actually falling off.
Okay.
It's an old wooden post. It's all bent, and
It's
Uh,
on 220 or actually on McKinney Hollow?
It's on McKinney Hollow Road
Okay.
and it's right at the line. So I don't know if your crew maybe saw it and said, well, that's Allegany's issue, but it's clearly on the Botetourt side.
Gotcha. I'll have them check on it. Our sign crew's usually right on top of it, so they may have just missed it. Yeah.
They got a couple of them though that were really bad. So
Yeah,
that's good. We
okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Scott Horn.
No, thank you so much for getting Sanderson taken care of. That's fantastic.
Very good. Thank you.
Amy.
Update on Fern Trail.
We are trying to combine the surface treatment on that one with two other rural rustic projects that we have in different counties. So we know we do Roanoke County and Craig County as well. So we're hoping we can get a little better numbers. So doing it that way, we have to put it as a contract. That contract's on the street. That is up for bid now. I think we have to wait 10 days. Maybe we've had a pre-bid. We should know something probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then if we can award that, if the costs are good, I think what we're asking for them to do is have it paved before the end of October.
And we talked last month about a speed limit on Route 11 going into Buchanan from the south, particularly there at the North Star. Any movement on that or any thoughts on that?
Right. We've talked to our district traffic engineer again. He actually was acting in a role with me about 1.5 years ago when one of my assistants was off on maternity leave, and that nothing's really changed there. None of the development, none of the density of development along through there. He said they could look at it again, but he didn't expect anything would change, and he did a pretty thorough review back then. And deliver that information back to the town council in town of Buchanan. Said if you want me to push on it, I can, but changing that isn't something they take lightly. It needs to be enforceable for the sheriff's office and something that we feel we can stand behind as far as the data gives us.
I mean, if you could check it, I'd appreciate it. I have had multiple people ask about it, so the more thorough we can be, the better.
Sure.
Thank you.
I can do that. Thank you.
Okay, nothing for me, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything further?
No, sir. No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is item number 10, update on Virginia 250th Committee, the Botetourt Preservation Partnership, and Sarah Rogers, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I wanted to start and give a little context about the VA 250. So it was established in 2020 to commemorate Virginia's role in the 250th anniversary of American independence. The Virginia American Revolution 250 Commission aims to educate Virginians about their history and civic duty and sharing diverse narratives that capture Virginia's complete story. I'm going to try to get this word right. The semi-quincentennial is not just about our past, but strives to engage communities to tell the story of Virginia and inspire Virginians to commit to American citizenship. Our representative in the House of Delegates, Terry Austin, is the chairman of the VA 250 Commission for the state. In November 2022, the Botetourt County Board of Supervisors passed a resolution to form a Botetourt VA 250 committee to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States. In the winter of 2023, I was invited to be part of the Botetourt Preservation Partnership Incorporated. And in July 2023, the Board of Supervisors passed a resolution for Botetourt Preservation Partnership, also known as the BPP, to become the official Botetourt County VA 250 committee. There are some members from the BPP here. If they would stand, there are some members of our VA 250 committee. The Botetourt Preservation Partnership, as a nonprofit membership corporation, is committed to the protection, preservation, and promotion of Botetourt County's cultural, natural, and historic sites, together with the important stories that they tell. Through collaboration of individuals, businesses, municipalities, governmental agencies, and other nonprofit organizations, we are striving to better understand and interpret these sites and stories. Participating organizations in the BPP include Botetourt County Public Libraries, Historic Fincastle Incorporated, Daughters of the American Revolution, the Botetourt Genealogy Club, Botetourt County Historical Society Incorporated, the Countywide League, Town of Fincastle, and Botetourt Education Foundation, and the Chamber of Commerce. These organizations strive to provide not only a unique sense of community sustained by the county's connection to its past, as well as boundless sense of adventure looking into the future. So adhering to this mission and the goal of the VA 250, to not simply celebrate our past, but also commemorate how our founding also impacts our present and our future, the BPP has taken on various endeavors to highlight Botetourt County. Our first event in September 2023 was a concert highlighting musical influences in Southwest Virginia. The concert featured Dean Shostak playing the glass harmonica, which was originally invented by Benjamin Franklin in 1761, Kinfolk featuring Celtic folk music, and Carl Johnson, Botetourt's own renowned bluegrass picker and singer. Over 150 people attended this event. After this kickoff event, other community events have been held, including Step Back into History event hosted by Historic Fincastle Incorporated. Botetourt County Libraries have hosted educational presentations from the Department of Historic Resources, historical interpreter Jeff Briggs from the Fincastle Company. Ed McCoy presented the history of the iron furnaces in Botetourt, and Mary Ann McConnell also shared information about the Murder Hole Cave. Combined, the educational presentations had 198 attendees. In October 2023, Botetourt County Historical Society hosted their annual Founders Day dinner and had state archaeologist Brendan Burke speak with 147 in attendance. Brendan Burke also returned to Botetourt Libraries in May 2024 with presentations and had about 15 attendees. The Historical Society and Libraries also partnered on an oral history event in November 2023, and the Historical Society was able to collect firsthand accounts of veterans' experiences with 12 attendees to this event. Currently, the VA 250 committee is working to plan larger events in the community. One of these events will showcase the wineries in the area. We've contacted the 3 wineries in Botetourt, and they all support the idea of creating a commemorative wine that can be sold as a 3-bottle set, with the hope to have events at each venue. Multiple members of the Botetourt VA 250 attended the state conference in Williamsburg this spring and were able to report back on various initiatives and opportunities to celebrate our heritage and our history. In July 2024, regional VA 250 groups met for the first time, the offices at Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge and Roanoke, and we were able to share ideas and learn from each other. The spring and summer of this year, we've been able to host several events in the area. Botetourt County Libraries started presenting genealogy classes, which educated over 20 people on how to start their family research. In May, the Daughters of the American Revolution had a Revolutionary War Patriots Marker dedication with guest speaker Delegate Terry Austin, with over 80 people attending. Historic Fincastle hosted multiple events, one event being on the history of the churches in Fincastle, along with their first old-fashioned ice cream social. And Botetourt participated in the statewide bell ringing organized by the State VA 250 Committee on July 4th. Moving into the fall, we are planning on events from multiple organizations. We are planning for the Founders Day event with the Historical Society, Historic Fincastle Days, Ghost Tours, and more. And the Botetourt 250 Committee continues to plan more events as we approach 2026. Just wanted to give you all an update on events. Any questions?
Thank you, Sarah. Any questions?
Been busy.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Been really busy.
Item number 11. Consider approval of land-based agreement with DataPath Wireless Group LLC for construction of a communications tower on the county landfill property. Matt Hinkle, welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of the board. Matt Hinkle, your Emergency Communications Systems Manager. Here today to speak about a land lease agreement with DataPath Wireless LLC that will be out at the landfill. Excuse me. The county is to lease approximately about 1 acre of land. We spoke about this at one of my updates for the radio system. This is actually step one of many steps that we'll be bringing to the board for approval for the new emergency communication system. This tower that DataPath will be constructing will be one of the sites that we'll be using for the emergency communication system. DataPath will lease that approximately 1 acre of land for $1,000 per month. And it will, they will ultimately build a 225-foot communications tower, which we will be the anchor tenant on when it's completed. It's worth noting, DataPath is also going to build another tower for us in the Blue Ridge area that will cover the Blue Ridge section of the county. If the county were to have to build this tower, we're looking at somewhere between $750,000 to $800,000 a piece for these towers. So it's really saving the taxpayers about $1.5 million up front without having to outlay that capital up front. Ultimately, the agreement is for 20 years with 4 5-year extensions. So it's a 40-year agreement for this, for the lease. And then once the tower is completed, the county will lease space on the tower for $32.50 a month. The ROI on that, if we had to build the tower or if we contracted with our communications partner Motorola, would be somewhere around 22 years would be the break-even point for what our monthly payment will be. This is an overview of the tower site. You can see the landfill kind of to the north. The shooting range is where that green line comes off of, or the sheriff's office shooting range is. There's a 2 acre parcel that we've already cleared up the top, and that's where the actual tower will go. And this is a close in look. You can kind of see how that road is going to go in and where they're actually going to put the tower. So ultimately, the county staff recommends that the Board of Supervisors approve the proposed land lease agreement with DataPath Wireless. Any questions that the board may have, willing to entertain.
Thank you. Matt, are there questions?
6 years, that will pay for itself.
I believe it's 22 years.
2 years. Thank you.
It says that the county can lease space on it for $32.50 a month. How about commercial carriers? Will they be able to as well?
That's a very good point, sir. Yes, and that's the business model that this company does. One of the nice things is they'll go and they'll build a tower pretty much where we want them to build the tower, as long as they feel that they can attract those carriers. This particular tower at the landfill, if you're familiar, the Catawba area where I happen to currently reside, is devoid of carrier or wireless signal. So this will allow the carriers, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and the like, to be able to co-locate on that tower and provide the service not only for us, but also for the citizens. They'll have cell phone service, so they'll be able to call 911 or obviously call their loved ones and whatnot.
And what kind of tower is it? A unipole or is it a?
No, it'll be a tripod self-supporting tower. So it'll be a 3-legged self-supporting 225-foot tower.
Sounds like a good arrangement for the county.
Yes, sir.
Okay, going once, going twice for questions. Nothing. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Oh, do we need a motion on that?
Yes.
We do. Okay. The matter. Okay. Matter before us is locating the tower on county landfill property. It's been moved that we approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Scott Horn has seconded it. Is there a discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you, Mr. Hinkle. Mr. Mormon is here to talk about an item that came up earlier today from a couple of citizens, a solid waste collection and disposal operation. Well, Mr. Mormon, proceed.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. As most of you all are aware, or I guess all of you all are aware, the county operates a franchise solid waste collection system. It's a privatized system where private collectors provide the service. but it is a system that is regulated by the county. So the county, for example, establishes equipment standards and performance standards that the private companies must meet. The county also regulates the pricing for those services by establishing a cap on the amount that companies can charge their customers each month. The system guarantees the availability of service to county residents and businesses, no matter where they're located in the county. It also guarantees uniform pricing for residents and businesses across the county. So whether someone is in a densely populated, more convenient suburban location versus a very rural location, those businesses and counties can receive the same service at the same cost. This franchise system has been in place in the county since at least the 1970s and has served the county very well. Our franchises are awarded for periods of 7 years. The current franchises will end with the end of this year on December 31st. So staff issued RFPs and advertised for proposals from interesting companies. We received 6 proposals. You have those companies outlined in your package. The county is divided into 5 franchise areas, and companies are invited to submit proposals to serve 1 or more franchise areas. So as I said, we received a total of 6 proposals, and companies, some companies propose to serve 1 area, some companies propose to serve the entire county, others, 2 or more areas. So we were very pleased with the response we received, and the proposals were evaluated by Supervisor Clinton, Supervisor Michael and myself with assistance from our solid waste manager, Greg Hanna, who's here, and with support from our purchasing department, and we appreciate all of that help. The proposals were evaluated and ranked. Then interviews were offered to all of the companies. All of the companies took advantage of that. And so the evaluation committee met with and interviewed all the company representatives. And based on the committee's review of proposals and on interviews, they are recommending that you consider award of franchises as follows. For Area 1 to GFL Environmental, for Area 2 to Kessler's Garbage Service, Area 3 to Kelly's Garbage Collection Service, Area 4 to CNS Disposal, and Area 5 to Wasteco. The committee would also recommend that you consider establishing a collection rate cap of $24 for the new franchise term. That's a $2 increase over the current rate. The current rate of $22 has been in place for the past 7 years. I'd be happy to answer any questions, invite Mr. Nicely and Mr. Michael if they would have anything to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marmon. Any further comments from you, Walter, or new ones from?
No, I appreciated all the presentations and all the input. Went really well, very professional, and it's amazing that we have private contractors and very, very little complaints. So that's hats off to them.
Yeah,
Definitely a good system.
yes, it seemed like a seamless process. I was very impressed with the materials that we were presented. It certainly allowed us to do our homework before we had the actual interviews with the haulers. So that was very nice to have that. Thank you.
Has Wasteco accepted Area 5?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Thank you.
Could you, just for the benefit of everyone, define the areas?
Oh,
So
my.
if people are online or here that.
Greg, I'm going to need your help with that because I won't get them
Oh,
straight.
sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's good.
Hey, Greg, you might want to get to the microphone.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah.
For our online friends, if people might know who will be for areas.
Northern part would be Wasteco, which is servicing the Rock, Riscany, partway down 43. You get into Kelly's service area, which is majority from 220 back toward Fincastle, town of Fincastle, White Church Road over in that area. CNS Disposal will service the Buchanan area. It comes down to the township. Kessler's is majority the Troutville area and a little bit of Mountain Pass Road. And then the rest is over in Blue Ridge, which GFL will be handling that.
Thank you.
And one thing I should note too, and I apologize that I didn't, in addition to collecting trash, all of the haulers provide curbside recycling pickup. So anyone who wishes to put out recycling materials, they may do so, and the haulers collect those materials and take them to be recycled at no additional charge to residents. That's a service that we regrettably do not have a whole lot of use of. So we're going to be working with all the haulers to try to publicize that, educate, provide educational materials, and try to improve participation in that service. It's a real convenience to be able to do that and have it collected at your curbside at no cost. And so we'll do what we can to try to promote that.
Thank you.
Further discussion, questions from Mr. Mormon? Here we have an action item to approve the franchise agreements as proposed.
Move for approval and a $24 charge.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded for approval. Is there further discussion? While we're at it, I want to thank Mr. Nicely and Mr. Michael for working on the committee. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Once again, we're going for a good 7-year contract with solid waste collection. Number 13, Apex monthly update, Ms. Pendleton.
Thank you again, Chairman, board members, just me this time. Let's see, updates on that project are that we did receive copies of plats. There were 10 plats associated with different components of the project, and we received 7 of the 10. We have been, again, having meetings every 2 or 3 weeks with the company to discuss different progress reports, updates, or answer questions, just continuing to flesh out what details may be required for resubmittals and just walking through the process. They have some new folks on board. We have some new folks on board. So we're just continuing to keep that at the forefront of the discussions that what outstanding items remain. So we are awaiting feedback on them as to the first 3 plats that would need to come in. They're sequenced. That's why that makes it important. They have to go in order because every time you carve out a piece of property, you move in, then your numbers change. And so we're just working with them through that. Again, there's so much technical detail, so many pages, so much information to work through. So just continue to process through that at their speed. Again, ball remains in their court, continuing to work with them. No final information has been provided to us that resubmittals are coming through. They just continue to let us know they're working closer to resubmittals of the site plans.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Item number 14, appointments. Community Policy and Management Team and Blue Ridge Behavioral Health Care. We have appointments. Does anybody have that item of business?
There's a list on the agenda.
Okay, I don't have it on there. Who are the?
Right down here, if you click. It's right here, Steve.
Because I never have time in the meeting, so. So what we have here is proposed members that we want en masse approval. Who can help us out here?
I think we can take this as a whole, can't we?
We can just mention in there September 1st, 2026. The current members and then just go through those current members. It'll be taken until 2026.
So these have been duly discussed and they're willing to serve and they're qualified.
Yeah, it has listed in the agenda, members going off have a strike through, new members are underlined, so anyone that is not underlined is already serving.
The reappointment is the ones who are underlined.
They're the new ones.
The ones are crossed out.
So like this one's Sarah Watkins is leaving. Courtney
Yeah,
Allen is coming on.
Okay, and the attorney's okay with us doing this as a whole? Single motion? Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there any discussion? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the list of candidates in our package. Is there discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? That motion is approved. Brings us up to item number 15, citizen comment period, items that are not necessarily on the agenda. And
We have any others?
Mr. Head, we're pleased to have you here. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you very, very much. It is great to be here. And to all of you supervisors and audience members and those of us joining us online today for this meeting, my name is Chris Head, in case you don't know who I am. And I have the honor and privilege of representing Botetourt County and the rest of Senate District 3 as your Virginia State Senator. But I'm here today not just as a member of the Senate of Virginia, but also as a concerned resident and taxpayer of Botetourt County. As a member of the Senate, I've been contacted by a number of Botetourt constituents who have expressed grave concern over certain books now found in our public libraries. And I think I do need to point out to you, I have probably gotten more contact about this particular issue than any single other issue in the last year. And it's one of the top things that I've been contacted about in the entire 13 years that I've served in the legislature. My team and I have independently assessed the texts that are in the libraries. And as a result, I too am deeply troubled by what I've found. Let me outline several of the concerns that warrant your attention. In one particular book, you'll find a cartoon assortment of young girls and boys, all in the nude, with blood on the floor while discussing how to deal with menstruation. I think it's important to clarify that males don't experience menstrual cycles. And this same book also advises children to watch pornographic content to learn about their sexuality. That is particularly alarming to me. Why would any sane person instruct kids to explore pornography, which is not only proven to normalize the abuse and exploitation of women, but is also proven to be addictive? What type of sex education are we promoting? I really can't stress enough how concerned I am regarding this particular issue, and I think all of you should be as well. Another book posits that Abraham Lincoln was homosexual, that Eleanor Roosevelt, a prominent first lady in American history, was a lesbian, and that Joan of Arc was a transvestite. Now, none of these claims hold any ground in historical truth. And while political affiliations may influence somebody's views, we need to critically evaluate these books and determine if they disseminate fact or fiction, because blatant revisionist history has no place in our public libraries. Many accusations have been leveled at those who want to limit access to this material. Accusations of book banning or even book burning have been made. And let me be clear that I don't advocate either of those. But we should all understand what those terms mean and what they don't mean. A book ban, for example, means that a book is not to be made available in any venue. That is a clear violation of our First Amendment, which I hold very dear, as it's the very amendment that gives me the right to stand here as a citizen and voice these concerns today. But limiting access by removing books from a public library does not qualify as a ban if they're available for purchase through another means. I personally would like to see these books removed. Short of that, I would like to see that they be placed in a restricted area that's not accessible to minors without the express consent of the parent or guardian of that child. And so, as both a citizen and as your senator, I would humbly request that you take steps toward making these necessary adjustments. Well, thanks very much for your time and for allowing me to speak today.
Thank you for your comments, Senator. Any further citizen comments? Board member comments on anything?
I would like to address the, we've gotten some emails this week about this alleged designation as a sanctuary county. I think there's been a lot of communication back and forth with that. I think there's some room for the sheriff. He's expressed his view on this. I want to, as a Board of Supervisor member, reiterate and confirm with my colleagues and administration that this board has never voted to designate Botetourt County as a sanctuary county for illegals of any designation. Is that correct to the best of everyone's ability here? I'm one of the newer members on the board. I know that we have not done this since I've been on the board. I want to make sure that no one has any indication that we have ever designated ourselves in that manner.
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Zero discussion, zero action. So this is some media that is out there. This is one of these examples of something that looks very official and very alarming to many of us, that really creates rife and strife in our community that is unnecessary. And before we take up arms against each other, I want us to really think critically and look at the details. And in this case, this action has not been taken. I'm not sure what the source is, and I know that there are people that could look into that and find out why we are on this particular page, but no action has ever been taken, nor do we, as far as I can tell, have any indication to do that. So let us not let items like this that are unfounded cause more hostility within our communities. We work very hard to produce factual evidence, to be truthful, to be open in our communication. And when things like this are read and automatically believed, it sets us back. So please know that this board has not taken that action, and let's communicate with each other civilly about how to address the fact that that information is out there.
Thank you, Ms.
Very well
White.
said.
Any further discussion on that matter? No. Okay, anything else? I'll move for approval, or I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. We do want to go to closed session.
Do we need to do that now?
Closed session now.
If we want to go into closed session.
Yes, ma'am. If you want to continue closed session, then you don't want to adjourn, you would want to make a new motion to go in.
I move that we move into a closed session
Second.
For what purpose?
to discuss personnel,
Uh,
to the item that was on number 3 on the agenda.
Number 3 on the agenda. Yeah. So a continuation of the closed session under 2.23711 subsection A1 relating to the review of the county administrator? Or is this regarding a different departmental
A
issue?
different personnel matter.
Okay, different personnel matter. We go. So it would be regarding what? Regarding a specific individual. You need to give me something more specific than just personnel and 3711A1.
I don't know how to phrase this. So maybe we take a closed session. I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Regarding an employee of administration.
Yes.
Perfect.
So you're
Moving to go into closed session to discuss an employee of administration.
Okay, and then we will reconvene to following the closed session, Mr. Lockerbie, you'd want us to reconvene to close the business.
Yes, sir.
So it's been moved that we go into closed session for the purpose of
Second.
discussing administration personnel.
Yes.
All in favor? Well, you motioned, did we get a second?
Yes.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Okay, we'll go into closed session. We'll come out of closed session with a closed session resolution like we ordinarily would.
Okay.